All right, hi, good morning to you. Early start to things here as we go live. I'm sticking around Oscar Blue here this morning, but as we get you guys on, before I really get into the thick of things, let's make sure my video's good, make sure you guys can hear me, all of those things so that we don't waste any precious time and footage and interviews and stuff on video that's not working. So if everything is good, please let me know. I got my fan because it is already excruciatingly hot out here this morning. I am a little more covered up than I have been in the beginning of our trip here. Hola, baby. There's little girls here. There's a lot of little kids here. Okay, so looks like no one's saying that I've got issues, so that's good. That's good news. Okay, so we are here in Ulapa here this morning. Traveled about 60 miles since last Saturday. So we started our journey with them. You'll remember on Friday we were at a vigil, basically a prayer vigil before they got on their trek. And now we are in Ulapa, 60 miles from Tapachula. We're still a good distance from Mexico City. That's still the plan, is Ciudad de Mexico. And so once they get there, the plan is from there, they're supposed to get that protection claim validated. And then from there, some of them will continue their journey onto the US because that is their plan. That is a lot of their goal. Despite what the caravan leader, Irenejo Mujica, is saying. He's saying, you know, a lot of people want to stay and work in Mexico, but every single migrant we've talked to, other than two that I've spoken with, want to continue on to the US. Now, wanting and doing are two very different things, right? So their intention is to go to the US. Yesterday, immigration basically offered the option for people to basically stay and work in Mexico, but they said all or nothing. Every person has to agree that they're going to stay and work in Mexico, or else no, they're not going to they're not going to allow anybody to stay and work here. So immigration is pushing back. The caravan is pushing back from the other direction, and they're saying, no, we're going to keep going. There's random goats out here in Ulapa, apparently. As you can see, lots of dogs. And so they stop in these little towns, these little tiny towns, and set up shop so quickly. They, just instant resourceful, right? They build little shelters. They use what they can to survive out here. So in a little bit, I'm going to try to get Oscar to take me over there, but there's word here this morning from other journalists that got here a little bit before us that the health department came in of Mexico and is assessing the children because there's a lot of really sick kids, a lot of kids with high temperatures, fevers. Yesterday, I don't put opinions in things, but yesterday was a mistake for these leaders to move this group. They were in a place about 10 and a half miles from where we are right now. And there was shelter everywhere, right? There was a lot of places for them to sleep. The park that they were in was pretty big, pretty large area, and there was a lot of shelter for them. There was areas of water, there was a playground for the kids, all these things. And then randomly at 6 o'clock at night, they decided to move. And they've been doing that. They've been making 2 treks a day over the last couple of days. But the issue was, right when we started walking, just a torrential downpour happened. And they walked for miles, for 10 miles in the dark and in the rain. And I posted some photos and some video of it. Excuse me. And it's really, really wild to see all those kids walking, a lot of people without shoes.
To the Baptist church, we're going to give them food.
Okay, do you want to go over there? Can we go over there?
I have another hit right now at 10 o'clock.
You say, hola! Do you want a fan? It's hot. Hace calor, ¿sí, niñas? ¿Sí? ¿De dónde eres?
De Honduras.
Honduras. Okay, so these little girls are from Honduras as well. Hola! Okay, so there's a hace calor, ¿sí? Ah. Okay, just give her a little fan. It's hot. Yeah. Eres muy bonita. Muy bonita, niñas. Okay, so these little girls, right? Like the kids don't sign up for this. They're being brought along by their parents. So the kids are just stuck out here. And again, the health department is working right now to assess them and make sure they're okay. There's a church nearby that's saying any parents that have kids, come here, we will feed you. So we're gonna go in that direction as well and see. Now there are a lot of kids that have legitimate, a lot of families here that have legitimate asylum claims, and there are a lot that just want to work and live in America. So it's a hard space for sure. And they've got flowers, they're picking flowers. They just find a way to be a kid no matter what. Like no matter what happens, we see kids playing with soccer balls. I saw some kids running around with goats and playing, and no matter what the circumstances is, it's amazing to see how resilient these kids are and to just see what they're going through, and they still have a smile on their face 60 miles later. And a lot of people have said, oh, there's buses there. Oh, they're probably in the back of these semi trucks. I can assure you they're not. We've been walking with them. Last night we walked with them all the way. We closed down the evening with them. No one got on a bus. We come here, we're in Ulapa now, and you can see what's going on. These people are dirty, they're hungry, they're tired. This caravan on foot has, as Irenejo Mujica has said, it's moved farther than any other caravan. I honestly think, and again, I don't do a lot of opinions, but I'm going to tell you, I honestly believe that these people thought that they would get help sooner, that they would probably be able to get on a bus, because that has happened in the past. So I don't think they knew what they were signing up for, getting into this mess. This is hard and impossible for these kids. And there are 63 pregnant women. There are around 2,000 kids in this caravan, 63 pregnant women. And some of them are over 8 months pregnant. I believe it's 3 that are over 8 months pregnant. There are people that are living with disabilities out here. There are people in wheelchairs. So I honestly don't know if they believe this is what they were signing up for. Yesterday, when Irenejo Mujica was saying the caravan's stopping here because there's areas to work and the immigration people are allowing us to stay here and work, they all said, no, we want to continue to the US. They were mad. They felt abandoned. I had people reaching out to me saying, is it true that the caravan's not going to make it? And I don't know. I mean, the caravan's supposed to go to Mexico City, and then that they're going to continue on. But they want to stay as a group. So they are continuing on. They are not taking the deal through immigration. They are going to continue on north to Mexico City, and then from there to the US. And then again, there's speculation that in Mexico City there will be buses that will take a lot of these folks further north. So again, we are here in Ulapa. It's about 10.5 miles from where we left where we were last night. Not where we left them, because we were with them. It's been a really, really long 8 days for us, and we've had a place to sleep. And so I can't even imagine what these folks are going through. And that doesn't, I'm not on their side. I'm not on anyone's side. I'm just showing you the reality of what they go through. But again, don't get it twisted. You have these empathetic moments and these really compassionate moments. And there, as I've been saying, there are some people with legitimate claims of asylum that are refugees. But then a lot of them did choose this. There are still 60,000 people around Tapachula. And these folks were part of that group. They were in Tapachula for months, some of them. And so the thousands that we're with right now, they could have stayed there longer if they wanted to, right? They could have stayed in what they called a prison in Tapachula. So this is a choice for a lot of them to continue on this journey and to put their kids through this. Now, some of them with those legitimate asylum claims, they're pushing forward, and they're choosing that as well. They're choosing to be part of this caravan and to walk and not stay and wait. And so that is also the sad reality as well. So people are asking who is telling them to come. Most of the people that we've talked to, they say now is the time to migrate to the US because Mr. Biden is a good man, and he will honor his promise that if you have an asylum claim, he'll let you in. So they all know that. They all know that they can just walk in and put their hands up basically and say, we're here seeking asylum. My family member was killed by a gang in Honduras. Like, that's what they're saying. And they're not stupid. They watch the news, they talk, they have social media, so they do know what to say. I try to believe them and try to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, this one's dad was killed by a gang. but that's a story we've heard from a lot of them, you know. So is that a narrative that's passed around? Like, we don't know. So it's one of those things where it's really, really difficult, because our administration, the Biden administration, you know, Secretary Mayorkas has basically laid out a blueprint for people to migrate and how to do it. And then he just put out new information and new guidance for Border Patrol, saying that they have to assess the situation better to not cause trauma for kids and families when they go into a situation. So our administration is making it harder for Border Patrol to do their job and to stop people. And all the while, our administration's talking about giving $450,000 to illegal immigrants that came in 2018. So it's just really interesting to see what our administration is looking at as immigration reform. That's why I'm like, those are the only two things that I've heard about them making a move on immigration, and neither of those things help America, really. I mean, from what I can understand, it's helping out the people that are migrating to America. So it's really interesting. I mean, a path to citizenship, I think most people agree is something that needs to be touched on, and it's a big mess. But yeah, this is a mess. There's no other way to put it. And that's not an opinion. You can see for yourself. This is literally what you would, in the dictionary, be a mess. So right now, again, it is very warm here, and I have a face mask on now because I have to be a little bit more covered up, because, you know, people have been asking, why aren't you safe? Why are you staying with Oscar? Why do you keep saying Oscar is keeping you safe? I'm gonna just spell it out for you guys right now while I got you, okay? So I am a blonde white woman in a country, very southernmost point of the country, where most people, what I look like isn't something that they see often. And so when you get 8 days into being in a situation where you have no food, you have no water, I mean, a lot of these men, it's like they're in a wing of a prison, right? They're in a male prison. So you got 8 days of that, and it's, in the beginning, everyone's got better spirits, right? They have some food, they have some water, because they were in a shelter in Tapachula and they had clean clothes and things like that. And then they left, and now 8 days into this, they're not the same. Energy has shifted. There has been a lot of derogatory comments made toward me. There have been a lot of really, really leading looks and glances, and just being too close for too long to me. And there have been situations where people have been pointing at me. I have an ID tag that I have hidden right now, talking about my name, talking about who I am. And again, there's been some really, really bad things said toward me and about me being a woman. So I am covering up a little bit more. I am trying to keep myself safe, and also just take that piece out, right? Like take myself out of the equation that could cause a potential situation. So that's why I am really, really hot with a face mask on, and obviously this hat and my hair very much pulled back. So that's what's going on. For people that keep asking why I have to stay with Oscar, because I'm not safe. It's just a reality of being, and also a lot of America, you know, is a dream for a lot of people, but then there's also people that are frustrated with the way America has done things too. And so you got just a lot of energy out here. So I am staying safe, but a lot of people have asked what's going on and why I have to stay with Oscar, and that's exactly why. So another really tough reality. Let me flip my camera around. I hope you guys can still hear me. My audio always gets really, really funky when I flip my camera around, so I'm just hoping that you guys can still hear me. Another really messed up reality, though, is sometimes they have bathrooms. Sometimes, you know, sometimes this is a bathroom. Sometimes that is a bathroom. And I have stepped in the bathroom, unfortunately. So now I've got to clean my shoes and all of those things. But that is the reality. They're just literally coming into these towns. I mean, look at all this trash. All of this is just left out here for this small community, Ulapa, that they're going to be dealing with. And, you know, you'd think, oh, 5,000 people coming into a town, shot in the arm, oh, that's good. Well, 5,000 people with no money ain't going to help no one. Like, that's just reality, right? So again, we've traveled about 60 miles since last Saturday. We know there are MS-13 gang members within this group. We have seen the tattoos. We have had them way too close to us. That's one of the situations here as well. One of the gentlemen has been very close to me very many times. So we are really, really trying to keep my identity now kind of a little more concealed because it isn't safe. It's not. And what's really frustrating for me is, you know, the immigration reform, quote unquote, doesn't say anything about any kind of vetting, any kind of who any of these people are, right? And all these people want to go into our country. And so it's frustrating to me because we aren't doing much in the US. And again, that's the intent. They want to. Now, there is apparently some intel that we're following and that should come out later, that the municipal police are going to release some information on gang members here. So I will keep you guys posted on that, and I will send you guys out that information as soon as I have it. But there are confirmed people in this group that are gang members. So that's tough. So you see this guy, he's got like he's kind of trying to make a shelter for the little stroller over here with kind of like a palm leaf. So as I said, like they will find whatever they can for shade, for just some reprieve from this heat. Right when they, you know, stop, all their clothes are wet, or they wash their clothing or whatever that might be. And then that's how you can find, it's pretty easy to spot them. There's just clothes hanging everywhere. They get, you know, they'll grab a rock, they've grabbed all sticks, they build these little kind of tents. Most of the families I've talked to this morning are from Honduras. I don't know if that's because they're over here and they're kind of in a group. But I talked to a family, and I just posted a video, and I mean, it broke my heart because it was a little 2-year-old boy, just happy, good spirits, hola, just like a lovely little boy. And again, it just sucks because the kids didn't ask for this. Like they have, come on, man. It's the kids, right? Like that's the one spot. If you know, and if you want to be mad at people, yeah, be mad at the parents because they did choose to leave Tapachula. That was a choice. Now the ones that crossed the Darien Gap, the ones coming from Venezuela and West Africa, a lot of them probably didn't have a choice in their minds because they were escaping persecution. One family we talked to was a former police officer in Venezuela who was forced to work for the mafia, and he said no, and he wanted out because he had integrity, and they threatened every aspect of his life, every family member, everybody. And they chose to leave, and they had to go through the Darien Gap. Now, they did choose to leave Tapachula and get in this caravan. So there are a lot of aspects to this, right? There's a lot of frustration. Like, why are you doing this then? Why not stay in Tapachula, have access to a shelter, have access to something, and wait it out? Well, they saw this as an opportunity, so they jumped on the caravan. They literally learned about it on Facebook and jumped into the caravan because they wanted a way out of what they called a prison of migrants in Tapachula. And so, you know, you have a lot of those people. Now, there is another gentleman, his name is Victor. We've talked to him several times. He is from El Salvador, and he speaks English very fluently. And he has been deported once from the U.S., but he loves America, and he wants to live in America, would live and die for America, he says. But the thing is, I looked at him and I said, Victor, I said, you know, you're a nice guy, but I don't agree with what you're doing. What you're doing is illegal. And he kind of looked at me shocked, and the same kind of sentiment was, you know, we're called to do this. He said he tried to surrender himself to immigration, and this is true. I heard this also from the caravan leader. He said, I went myself to try to surrender myself to, I'll hold on once we get to the gate, tried to surrender himself to immigration. Yes. And immigration said, nope, all or nothing. We're not just taking you, Victor. We're not just going to help you stay here and live here and work here. Everybody. And so that's what the situation is right now. It's wild. So Victor did try to, you know, self-surrender. And so there's a lot of elements. Again, I am not in a position to judge anyone ever. up to God, and you guys can formulate your own opinions, and I'm just giving you all of the facts, and you can feel whatever way you want to feel. It's called journalism. I know we've all forgot how to freely think, but that's what this is. All right, so this is the real situation when they go into these little tiny towns. Again, they leave a big mess. Comandante, there's your hat. You want to go say hi to him? So that's one of the gentlemen with the Venezuelan family that we were talking to, and Oscar and I are both working on a really, really, really intense exclusive piece that we were part of. We sat with this family for over an hour, and I've probably cried every day over them. I've shared their story a little bit. I'm going to share some photos that I have as well with one of the women. One of the women was 2 months pregnant and went through the Darien Gap and was raped by one of the indigenous members there that control the Darien Gap. And she miscarried her baby, lost her baby after that rape. And they already have one little boy, and the dad is so skinny, and Oscar asked him, "You need to eat?" And he said, I give my food to my son. And Oscar even, he puts him on his shoulders. He constantly is putting his son first. And those are the ones that I've been really, really hurt over as just a human being. So we are at Plaza Tivica in Consuelo, Ulapa. Okay, so look at this. A lot of them don't have shoes. You see that gentleman right there with the pink backpack, no shoes on. We saw people walking in the rain without shoes. It's rough. But again, they left Tapachula to join this caravan. They signed up on Facebook, jumped in this caravan, and now have been walking for 8 days. Oh, sorry. We left Saturday morning. So this is the 7th day of walking, the 8th day of our coverage with the caravan. They've walked for 7 days, 60 miles. Most of them in flip-flops. I don't know if I could ever walk 60 miles in flip-flops. So again, we are in Ulapa, Oscar Blue, keeping me safe. We are staying very close together this time. I am not deviating at all because we are not going to create any kinds of situations here. So I'm gonna get some video. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I wanted to get some video and do some, people are saying do an expose kind of on the impacts of illegal immigration in the U.S. That's something that I will be doing when I get home, for sure. Jonathan, hey, buenos días.
Buenos días, me regalan el ventilador.
He's from Honduras. Jonathan's from Honduras. We have a photo together, earlier. See? ¿Cómo está? Bien. Gracias. Enjoy. Comido. Bye-bye. So Jonathan came up to me and just was curious. They're kids. We're journalists and we're walking around with cameras, so they're like, what's going on? So that's Jonathan. Again, I'm never going to treat a kid disrespectfully. I'm never going to treat another human being disrespectfully. I'm just going to not talk to him or not pay attention. So please don't judge me if I'm nice to people. That's not me to be a jerk, okay? And if you want me to be a jerk, you can leave my page, because you're not going to get that. Okay, so I'm going to jump off of my live. I don't see any questions that are burning that anybody needs answered. I saw, let's see, someone said something. Okay, and then just so you guys know, there's around 2,000 kids here. There are 50 unaccompanied minors. Now, that's not necessarily like a 2-year-old running around here. I talked to a 16-year-old unaccompanied minor. So we are for sure seeing a very big spread. And we also, a lot of people have asked, why are single men pushing around strollers? Why are young men, why do they have strollers? La, la, la. I'm not even going to lie. It's because these women are exhausted too. And a lot of these young men, we've actually seen them kind of volunteer to push the stroller or carry a baby. Now, what happens after that? I'm not, that's their prerogative as a caravan and as a mom and as whatever. But legitimately, a lot of these men jump in and help them push strollers. No, I got it on me right now. You can walk in front. A lot of these men legitimately will like jump in and help push the strollers because they've been walking for 60 miles. So that's just the reality, like the very real situation. Now, I can't say that that's all honest, that they're all good intentions. I don't know that, but I just know what I've witnessed, and the guys do jump in and will help the women carry the kids. And I saw that in La Jolla too, when we were picking up women in the caravan and family units, and the men would carry the little kids for the women because they just couldn't. So that's a reality too, for sure. So, okay. Hola, ¿cómo está? It's another journalist. He's a local journalist right here. So I don't believe there's anybody from America here any longer. Fox News has left. So I am here. We are continuing to travel with the caravan. We were going to leave, but things have kind of progressed a little bit more. We've got a lot more interaction with law enforcement, with immigration, with the health department now. So we're continuing to cover this and keep you guys posted. I'm going to jump off. We are safe. Oscar's keep. We're going to go over to the Baptist church and see, because apparently they're feeding some family members. So, yeah, we are in Ulapa. We are 2 hours ahead of, we're in Central Time. So we're 2 hours ahead of Pacific. We're in Texas time, basically, if y'all are watching. Okay, so we're going to jump off of here. Adios. I'll see you guys soon.